Typical Tech. Typical Tech.
It's a touchdown, Red Raiders.
Fantastic.
Lubbock and leave it.
And they hail from Lubbock, Texas.
That's pure Texas Tech. Hello and welcome to another episode of Typical Tech. I'm your host, Robert Giovanetti. We're excited to bring you another outstanding edition of Typical Tech. Thanks to JFerg Pros. They're a proud partner of Tex Tech Athletics when it comes to roofing, construction, and plumbing. Don't settle for anything but the best. Contact JFerg Pros, the best solution for your home or business. I tell you what, talk about great things happening around here. We saw Jordan Brooks. We had Brittany Brewer on last week talking about being drafted in the WNBA. Then Jordan Brooks, first round draft pick on last Thursday in the NFL draft. You can't. It's gotten to be where you can't swing a stick around here without hitting a draft pick of some sort. And how about this? Texas Tech, the only school in the country to have a first-round pick in the NBA, Jarrett Culver, Major League Baseball draft, Josh Young, and now NFL, Jordan Brooks. Of course, we had Brittany in the second round of the WNBA. That is Typical Tech. And speaking of the draft, we've got a trivia question for you today. The draft is a big deal now. We saw that they had their highest ratings ever for this draft. A lot of it because we've been starved for sports. But when you're thinking about the draft, who was the first Red Raider football player to be drafted into the NFL on television? And again, you have to remember, we take it for granted now about the NFL draft that we get so much coverage of it. You saw it on the NFL Network, saw it on ESPN, saw it on ABC, saw it online. You can't get away from it. But there was a time when this thing wasn't even televised. So who was the first Red Raider to ever hear his name called on television in the NFL draft? And we'll have that answer in a little bit after we hear from Jordan Brooks. But a guy who wasn't drafted, but who had a great NFL career and is still in the NFL as a coach is Wes Welker. Maybe on most people's favorite Red Raiders of all time. Wes coaching in San Francisco, was in the Super Bowl last year on the other sideline against Patrick Mahomes. And we're going to be very fortunate as a part of Hot Rod and Geo to be joined by Wes Welker. Four-time All-Pro, selected to 5 Pro Bowls. He led the NFL in receptions 3 times. He played 12 seasons in the NFL, scored 8 touchdowns here at Texas Tech as a punt returner, Sports Illustrated All-Decade Team as a punt returner. A couple years ago in the Texas Tech Hall of Fame. Now wide receivers coach for the 49ers. In your second year, Wes, right? And we've been talking to everybody about their new normal. Here you are coming from the family playroom, right? As you kind of maneuver through all this.
Yeah, I feel like Eric DaCosta on draft day whenever they were showing the GM for the Baltimore Ravens, and I was like, is that his daughter's room? But yeah, no, I'm in the same predicament.
Is that where you were on draft day?
I was, yeah. We were just on Zoom calls. Well, I actually set up outside on the patio out there. It's a nice day outside, so I set it up out there.
Is that where you communicate with your players, and is that where all your communication happens?
Yeah, this is my whole setup right here, man. It's right here. Got the TV, got the laptop.
Basket of toys over
there. If he gets bored.
Yeah.
Hey, Wes, you got as wide receiver coach, you had a pretty good draft, right? You got a couple of good ones, especially in the first round.
We did. Yeah, no, we're really excited about the 2 guys we got. And then we got undrafted free agent Chris Fink from Notre Dame. We're excited about. So we got some real talent in that room which we already had some. So I explained to the guys today, like it's going to be highly, highly competitive in our room. So it's going to be interesting how everything kind of shakes out. Just make sure that, you're doing everything possible to make this team, because I don't think you're going to miss out on it.
And what's the transition been like from playing to coaches the last 3 years?
It's
to help you.
Yeah, no, it does. But it's definitely different. I mean, you have to be extremely organized, on top of all your stuff. I mean, you're dealing with 20-year-old kids and stuff, and a lot of times I feel like a 20-year-old kid with these guys. But no, we have a lot of fun in our room, and guys, have been working hard and they play hard, but it is definitely a transition, because your control is a lot less. You wish you could be out there on the field doing it, but you're doing the next best thing of just trying to help these guys along and help their careers best you can.
Wes, where did that come to you during your career that you said, "Hey, I want to take this next step"? Right from obviously when you were at the end of your career, you could have probably done a lot of different things. What made you decide, "Hey, I want to get into coaching"?
You'd be surprised. I'm not very good at anything else besides football. So no, it's just what I have passion for. I love it. I love being around the guys. I just love the game. I love learning about it and all the different aspects of it. And so no, it's just been cool. I think the best thing I did was take a year off from football after playing for 12 years, and that year off, my wife was sick of me. I'm sure the kids were getting tired of me and everything like that. And so I was like, you know what, I need to do something. And, this is always something that I wanted to do, but I didn't know if I wanted to put in the time that I did. But after taking that year off, I realized, no, this is what I want to do, and try and be great at it.
Hey, talk a little bit, Wes, about playing with probably the two greatest quarterbacks of all time, and what would be their things that they're alike and things that they're different in Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. I think that's people are going to be able to say they played with those two guys.
Yeah, no, I was extremely fortunate to be with those two guys. I mean, they're not only great people, but complete competitors. They keep their whole team accountable. They really kind of set the standard for their team as far as how they need to practice, how they need to play, how they take care of their bodies, and really kind of staying on the whole team and really leading by example and doing all those great things. All those intangibles and talent to go with all that stuff. Like they just set a great example for their team.
What do you expect out of Brady at Tampa Bay?
What's that?
What do you expect out of Brady at Tampa Bay?
He's on a mission, man. Every time I text with him, he's talking trash. Like, I was telling him, I don't know, he was saying something. I was like, that's great. I'll see you in January in San Francisco. And, he's saying he's going to beat our ass, so we got a little friendly fire going on.
Hey, when is that game? When do y'all play them?
Well, I was kind of saying we were going to be at home in the playoffs.
No, I got you. Hey, do y'all have y'all heard anything?
I think we do play them at some point. I don't know. I haven't even looked at the schedule, but I think we do play them at some point in the regular season.
What have you heard about the NFL season, Wes?
I don't know. I'm just preparing to have one. So, we'll see what kind of transpires with this whole deal. It's been kind of crazy. It's been very different working from home. And my son asks me all the time, he's like, "You almost done, Daddy?" And I'm like, "No, son, I got a lot more work to do." He's like, "You're halfway done? Are you almost done?" Like, I'm like, dude, like, just be glad I'm able to tuck you in bed at night. So,
how old are your kids now?
I have twins that are 4, and then I got a 2-year-old. So we got boy-girl twins and then another boy.
That's fantastic. We're going to hear from Jordan Brooks a little later in the program. He was first-round draft pick, and he went to the Seahawks. But we had a few guys at Tech that signed free agent contracts with an NFL franchise, and that's how you got your start, right? San Diego, you signed Absolutely. With San Diego. What advice do you give those guys, especially this weird time, right? It's gonna be even harder for them to make an impact and show what they can do.
Yeah, I think the main thing for them, and even like talking to my rookies, I have, really getting into the playbook, and I'm going to meet with them as much as I can, or as much as we need to, but a lot of it's going to be on them as well. So really, the playbook's going to be way different from college, and there's a lot of detail. It's not just line up somewhere over there and beat that guy on a slant. It's no, you're going to motion here. You need, your splits right here. All these different little details that, guys don't necessarily, think about. They're just, no, I just go out there and win on a slant. Like, if you can do that, like, you'd be a first round pick, So you're going to have to learn, not only the playbook, but, how to be a pro, how to attack each day, how to train, all those different things that, everybody that's there in the building is going to have a leg up on you in that room. So being able to find a spot on the roster, it's going to be a lot of hard work, and a lot of it's going to be on your own.
You still get a chance. How often you talk to Cliff or communicate with Cliff?
I text with him a little bit during the draft and stuff like that, especially talking about his pad he had over there.
Yeah, his looked a little different than yours, right? His setup looked a little different than yours.
Oh, yeah. No, there were definitely no kids over there. I was giving him a hard time because in the picture I didn't see a pool. And then he's like, you need to look closer. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I see you. I was like, that's gangster.
Wes, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but you had some familiarity with Coach Wells before back in the day, right? He recruited you coming out of high school. So do you still keep in touch with Coach Wells?
I do. We text and FaceTime every once in a while. I just remember him being a heck of a coach, and especially a recruiter. He had me close going to Navy, and I was just like, I don't even want to go to Navy, but he about had me talked into it. So I was, luckily Texas Tech came along with the scholarship, but he had me close to going to Navy over there, which is a place I really didn't even want to go to. So, he was a great guy, great motivator, great recruiter. I got nothing but great things to say about Coach Wells.
He said you taught him how to do the guns up too. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, you got to put it out there with authority. Yeah, you got to have some pride in that.
Well, I think he's learned well. He does a good guns up.
Absolutely.
Hey, I want to ask you a couple first in your Texas Tech career, Wes. Do you remember who your first collegiate catch was against?
Ooh. Was it Nebraska?
Baylor 2000 and 37-yard catch.
Okay.
You remember when your first TD reception was and who it was against?
Oh, man. You're having me go in the archives here. I got a little CTE, man.
Hey, Cliff threw you your first touchdown pass against New Mexico in 2001.
That's right.
Last one, first kickoff return for a touchdown.
Was that Louisiana Lafayette?
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Okay. I remember the punt returns.
All right, one more question about your pass here. Do you remember? Listen to this, Gio.
Yeah.
Wes played for a state championship game. Played the state championship game his senior year in high school. He went to Heritage High School in Oklahoma City. In the game, you had how many TDs, Wes? 3.
I believe it was 3.
Yep. 47-yard field goal.
Yep.
And an interception in the game.
Sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Got to show up in those big ones.
Hey, you were quite a DB too, man.
I try, man. I think it's kind of by default as far as the defensive back, but no, I love playing defense. I enjoyed it. So the more you can do out there on the field, and I just love being out there. So that high school was always fun, man, because you never had to come to the sidelines.
Hey, you were always a backup kicker here. Am I misremembering this? Did Leach let you kick an extra point one time?
He did, yeah. Thanks for bringing that one up. I missed.
I thought I remember that.
Couldn't believe it. I think I was too nonchalant about it. We were up by about 50. You let me go out there and kick one. But I learned from it because I didn't miss in the pros.
Yeah. Do you realize, does it ever hit you, that touchdown you scored against A&M, that punt return back in 2002, if you go in nearly 90% of Tech people's offices, there's that picture of you scoring that touchdown. Did you realize at the time how iconic that was? And what are your memories of that play?
Yeah, no, I have that same picture. I'll show you all my
yeah, let's see it.
My kid's room is, looks like this. The whole rest of the house is my wife's. And this is what I get.
Claw.
That's all my stuff. And you see back there.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah.
And I would love to hang it up, but obviously it doesn't match any of our furniture or anything. And I don't want to get my own room. I get a closet to put all my stuff in. So, you got to make do with what you got. So maybe someday she'll let me have my own office or something.
You need to, I don't know how close you've looked at that picture. It's fun to look at all the different reactions in the background of all the Aggie fans. And there's a few Tech fans interspersed throughout that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No, it's really cool. It's really cool to kind of see all that. And I think that's what makes the picture of just, all the faces on it. And it's a good conversation piece that, I never get to talk about because I got to keep it in the closet.
And it's one of the greatest games in Tech history, right? It's the comeback and win it in overtime and everything else. So it was a great game.
It was a really cool one. Yeah, no, that's definitely one that, I always look back at and how hot it was that day and throwing up on the sidelines during halftime and all that stuff. And, just us just kind of clawing through and winning the game on that was pretty cool.
Is there another game or something that happened at Tech that stands out to you, game, play, or anything?
Probably the Texas game that same year, being able to beat A&M and Texas. That was another thriller. That was a lot of fun. And, a few games where I just, kind of felt like I was in the zone and, could do no wrong. And it's fun to have those.
Rodney asked, we had Anthony Lynn on last week, and Rodney asked him who some of his mentors were in coaching. Who do you go to for coaching, mentorship, and has helped you out?
I think a lot of guys along the way, Art Briles and I always had a great relationship. These guys I'm with here in San Francisco, like these guys are super smart. So I've been picking up a lot of things from Kyle and Mike McDaniel, Mike LaFleur, and these guys. That's been really awesome and really kind of broadened my my ability to coach. I feel like just hearing from them and seeing how they see things and what we're trying to attack and all that. It's been really fun to be around. But yeah, I mean, Coach Leach, I still stay in touch with him. We talk quite a bit. I make sure I set aside at least an hour before I talk to him. But but no, I love hearing from Mike and talking with him. I take a lot of things I learned with Coach Belichick. Just the way he coached and how he explained things to the team, and kept things really simple, but emphasized how important it is and how to really game plan against teams and matchups and taking advantage of those matchups and how do we do that and all those different things. It was really cool to be around.
Well, Wes, we appreciate you a lot. You're revered around this place, and I didn't know you very well before the Hall of Fame induction into the Tech Hall of Fame, and I was so impressed with your appreciation and humbleness and everything, and you could just tell you really cared and loved Texas Tech and appreciated what they do, and we appreciate what you've done for the school.
Well, Rodney, I appreciate that, man. No, you've always been great to me and along with Texas Tech University. So, it's a special place I hold dear to myself and, always enjoyed all my times there and everything like that. So I just hope to get back there soon.
Well, hope we can everything open back up, get you back when you've got a bye weekend there in San Francisco.
That's
but
right.
Wes, good luck. Again, we've got so many Tech people out there that we're rooting for now, and you're one of them out there for the 49ers. So good luck. Hopefully your kids will help keep you sane, and we'll see you soon here in Lubbock.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Appreciate
it.
J-Ferg Roofing Pros.
Knowing that your communities have turned to J-Ferg Roofing Pros to roof your schools, churches, and hospitals, you'll find comfort at home living under a J-Ferg roof. If you want a quality roof from a local company who will be here after the storm chasers are gone, call J-Ferg Roofing Pros today. Don't just get a roof, choose a J-Ferg roof.
The best solution for your business or your home. J-Ferg Roofing Pros.
Okay, and as we mentioned earlier in the program, before we heard from Wes Welker, that it's typical Tech now to have first-round draft picks, and Jordan Brooks joins that distinguished group. Texas Tech with the only school in the country to have a first-round draft pick in the NBA, Major League Baseball, and now the NFL this year. Jordan, what was it like to hear that name called on the first night of the draft?
Yeah, it was special, for me and my family, and then the rest of the Raider Nation, everybody that that's been a part of me during this journey. Not a lot defensive players go that high from what statistics to tell you, coming out of Texas Tech. So it's very special to me, to get a chance to do that, make history, and hopefully just set a standard and keep it rolling for years to come.
You mentioned earlier before we started recording that a lot of people didn't expect you to go that high. Where did you honestly think you might go? Did you have a pretty good feeling on the first night?
Yeah, I had a real good feeling about first round. I wasn't surprised about that. I didn't think it was going to be the Seahawks. I had maybe the Chiefs or the Ravens in mind, Saints or something like that, just because those are the teams that talk to me the most. And during the whole process, I only talked to the Seahawks one time. So they really caught me off guard.
It is kind of sneaky how the NFL works, right? And I was reading a story how the Seahawks actually tried to eliminate communication and talking about you because they liked you so much. They didn't want to let other teams know about that. I thought that it was interesting. And so how long it had been since you talked to the Seahawks?
So I only talked to them one time, and it was at the Combine. And pretty much everybody else I talked to at the Combine and then the months leading up to the draft. So they just kind of just faded from my memory. So I just wasn't expecting it on draft night. But they played the cards right, and they got a great player, and I'm just excited to get up there and see that.
How did it work on the draft? Like, we all saw the reaction and everything else like that. When did you actually hear? Who's the first one to call you to tell you what was happening?
Yeah, it was the GM. GM called me first, and then Coach Carroll called me right after. So, it was a big honor for me, and just a special moment to get to hear from those guys that that was the one that they wanted.
Did you grow up? Since you're from the Houston area, are you a Texans fan? Did you like the Cowboys growing up at all?
I was a Cowboys fan.
Okay,
sure.
So we got
Cowboys
Ken Norton
fan
on that staff. So who's a great Cowboy linebacker.
Exactly. He gave me a call too that night. So plenty of calls came in from the Seahawks staff, and it was an exciting, special moment.
How did you prepare yourself? Did you talk to any others that you knew who had been through this process before? How did you get yourself mentally ready for all this?
It's hard, with all the chaos going on, but, I had some talks with Dakota Allen, somebody that's been in this position, just asking how he dealt with it and, what to look out for and what to expect, basically. And, he was a good, mentor as far as just letting me know what to expect and how to handle everything. So that was a good brain to pick for me.
We saw some really emotional, touching video, you with Coach Wells and you with Coach Patterson on thanking them afterwards. For you, how was that, having to deal with that transition, from Coach Kingsbury and his staff? I know that you had some great connections there. How was that transition to the new staff, and what did those guys mean to you?
It was difficult for me at first, trying to deal with a coaching change for the first time. I had never had to do that. So it was difficult, but, I just seen the bigger picture and where they were headed with the program. So, I bought in and did things the right way. And, I called them right after I got picked, because they played a key role in my success this last year. And also Coach Kingsbury and the rest of those guys on that staff. But Coach Wells and Coach Patterson, those guys this last season really helped me take the next step forward in my career.
I thought that one of the best things about that video is Coach Wells' kids seem more excited than you did on that call. They're all fired up. Are we seeing that from that staff? Maybe a little family atmosphere growing around that program?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that's something that Coach Wells does a good job with, and that's why he got that "We Us Our," motto. It's all about us, the family, and I think that's what you need in order to build a great program moving forward. You know, a family atmosphere. So, you know, big kudos to Coach Wells for that.
You know, you mentioned you only talked to the Seahawks once, but you did talk to a lot of other programs or organizations. How was your day? How were your days leading up to that? Was there a lot of calls? Was there a lot of connection and communication with the other teams?
Yeah. You know, pretty much the days leading up, everybody's just trying to make sure you got the same phone number, the same agent and all that. So that's where you start really getting a good idea of who likes you. You know, they want to know if you change the number or not. So Seahawks, once again, still didn't reach out. So I just really didn't have them on my radar as, you know, as a team that would pick me. But man, I'm excited, incredibly blessed.
Hey, I saw a guy from Wisconsin accidentally hit decline when they called him. Somebody called him to tell him he got drafted. Were you worried? Were you really nervous for that phone when the call came?
Yeah, I got a video. I was actually eating some pasta, and my phone was face down and it was silent, and so I didn't know it was ringing. But my phone was also connected to my iPad, so somebody in my family seen my iPad ringing. And it was like, somebody's calling. So I dropped the pasta, picked the phone up, and got the phone call. So it really caught me by surprise. So, you know, it was crazy.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you weren't just eating might have been an expensive pasta dish if you hadn't been able to to get that call.
No, for sure.
Hey, there's a great story in the Seattle newspaper about, you know, your mom and growing up and your family. For you personally, how much does this mean to be able to help out your mom and to see all these years of her sacrifice for you play out like this?
Yeah, it's just a big weight off my shoulders, our shoulders, you know, as a family. It's just something that, you know, we envision, you know, since a little kid. And the moment has finally come, you know what I'm saying? So it's just a big thank you from God, you know, just allowing me to stick to the course and putting the right people in my life to help me get here. So incredibly happy.
How excited was your family when this happened? What'd you guys do after it was all done on Thursday night?
Man, we celebrated. Big. You know, everybody was super excited, jumping up and down, yelling. It was a great celebration. Hey,
so who are some, when you were growing up, what position did you want to play? Did you always envision yourself as a linebacker? Who did you kind of if you guys were out playing in the playground, who did Jordan Brooks pretend he was?
Yeah, I thought I was two people. I played running back pretty much my whole life. I wanted to be like Reggie Bush and Walter Payton. Two guys. I used to watch their highlights. I used to watch their highlights all the time. You know, playing running back. That's all I had ever played. So I never had linebacker in vision. You know, until I got changed, a position change in high school. But yeah, it was Walter Payton and Reggie Bush for me.
Hey, for a guy like you from the other side of the state, what was it about Texas Tech that made you want to come here?
I think, you know, when I took my visit, it just kind of hit home with me. You know, it was the type of place that fits my personality, more laid back, more reserved. And it's a college town. You know, I wanted to go somewhere where the fans was all about, you know, the school and the sports there. And that's one thing you definitely get with Lubbock. You know, everybody's all about Tech, you know. Way out in West Texas, Lubbock, Texas Tech, you know, it's a big deal out there in West Texas. So I fell in love with that aspect. And then also, you know, the coaches that helped me get there, Coach Babb, Coach Kingsbury, Coach Gibbs, all those guys. And then I never said this before, but I seen Pat on TV one time in I think a Baylor game, and I seen the uniforms, and then that was the icing on the cakes right there. So I was like, yeah, I want to go play with him.
You like the uniform or you like Pat? Which one was it?
Say it again.
Was it the uniform or Pat?
It was both. He looked good in the uniform throwing touchdowns, so I was like, yeah, that's where I want to go.
Hey, now you get a chance, hopefully, to chase him down, right? You know that you be playing against him. I don't know what schedule looks like, but you know, that may be somewhere down the road. You get to go up against Pat. I know you get to go up against Coach Kingsbury.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, you know. And I call Coach Kingsbury right after as well, and we get to meet each other twice a year. So it's going to be a battle, and I can't wait.
Hey, is Texas Tech turning in a little bit to linebacker you? We had Dakota and you, and now we got Rico coming up. What's going on here?
Hey, I'm telling you, it's something that started here in the recent years, and hopefully the tradition can keep growing. But I definitely think it's safe to start calling a linebacker you. And everybody out there watching, just keep an eye out on number 6, Rico Jeffers, because he's definitely next.
What's your workout plan? Have the Seahawks given you, hey, here's what we expect out of you the next couple weeks till you can get there to Seattle?
As far as workout plan, not really. I'm right here. I got the EXO shirt on. That's where I've been training at. So I'm still with those guys. But as far as the workout, not too much on that part. But I'm about to get a playbook sent in. We're just about to start going over X's and O's until I get there, basically.
So as we wrap up, first of all, you want to tell Coach Carroll on short yardage situations, maybe give you the ball. You might be able to still tote the rock a little bit.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. It's something that comes natural. So if I ever got that opportunity, I'm gonna make the most of it.
Yeah, I think you'd be hard to bring down if you were there delivering the blows from the offensive side. I wouldn't want to see you coming at some safety or something. But you talked about why you chose Texas Tech. How would you sum up your career here at Texas Tech? Good decision, as you look back.
Without a doubt. Obviously things didn't go the way that I envisioned it as far as the team aspect, but I think I left a good mark on the program, and I had a heck of a time at my 4 years there. No regrets. Met a lot of great people, and it was just a special 4 years out of my life that I'll never forget. So no regrets there.
Hey, do you like the Seahawks uniforms? Are those good uniforms?
Oh yeah, there's something about the uniforms, man. I can't wait to get in the navy and neon, whatever you want to call it, man. It's a nice look.
Yeah, I think they've got cool uniforms, and they've got a good guy throwing the football, Russell Wilson, and so you've got a couple of things there you can look forward to. And have you chosen a number yet? What's your number going to be in the NFL?
I haven't. I think it's probably it's going to end up being 56, just a more traditional linebacker number. So I think it's going to end up being 56.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you taking time. I know you're there in Dallas and looking forward to getting to Seattle. Congratulations. We're getting a lot of teams we have to root for here at Texas Tech, but we've all become Seattle Seahawks fans overnight. So wish you nothing but the best, and thanks for what you did here at Texas Tech.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Easy to see how Jordan Brooks is a guy that would impress a lot of NFL teams, and easy to root for. So we'll be looking forward to watching Jordan on Sundays, hopefully starting this fall. But man, what a great show today. I had Wes Welker. Wes doing great in the NFL now as a coach, first as a player, and now Jordan Brooks, who was first round draft pick of the Seahawks. Back to the trivia question. Who was the first Red Raider to be drafted into the NFL on television? There's a difference. Again, the draft hasn't always been televised. Hard for some people to remember that. But the answer was and is James Hadnot. James Hadnot was a running back drafted in the 3rd round of the first ever NFL draft to be televised. That was in 1980. You old guys can remember that Hadnot, nicknamed Kong, was tight end and got moved to a running back. And at the time, I think people are saying, what are we doing moving this guy to running back? And he was dominant, and then drafted, I believe, by the Kansas City Chiefs. We lost James recently, but I tell you, he was a great Red Raider, came to every event. James was at volleyball, soccer, women's basketball. And so sad day to lose James Hadnot, but he is the first Red Raider to have ever heard his name called on television as part of the NFL draft. So again, thanks to Jordan and to Wes and Hot Rod, Rodney Allison, for joining us today. Want to remind everyone that on Thursday, April 30th, you can join us live for the Recum Tour, the virtual Recum Tour. First time we've ever done something like that. And it'll be Thursday night, April 30th at 7 o'clock. And we'll be joined by Kirby Hocutt, Tim Tadlock, Matt Wells, Chris Beard, all will join us. And how about this? We've got some great musical acts for you as well. Grant Gilbert will join us. William Clark Green on the program as well. And we're going to finish it out with Josh Abbott. All these guys offering up their time to come together as a Red Raider family. And that'll be on Thursday, April 30th. If you miss it live, it'll be archived on Texas Tech TV and also archived on our YouTube channel. So you won't want to miss it. But try to join us live if you can, because how about that? All these guys coming together as a Red Raider family, because that's what we do here at Texas Tech, because that is typical Tech. Thanks so much for joining us this week. We'll talk to you again. See you at the Rec Room Tour, and talk to you again next week. It's Typical Tech. Typical Tech.
It's a touchdown, Red Raiders.
Fantastic.
Lubbock and leave it. And they hail from Lubbock, Texas.
That's pure Texas Tech.